At the bottom of the list, we have Ethan Nakamura. He's a pretty good swordsman and was able to keep up with Percy when the two fought in the Battle of the Labyrinth, and as a son of Nemesis, he can likely control a person's good and bad luck to an extent. Beckendorf, rest in peace, as counselor of Cabin 9 before Leo came along, was the most skilled mechanic and blacksmith at camp. He was also the only one able to control Festus before Leo. Being a daughter of Ares, Clarice is one of the best warriors at camp, and has a level of expertise with every weapon. She's gotten the blessing of Ares once, I think, in the last Olympian. And lastly, in the Sea of Monsters, we've seen her use her demigod powers to summon undead soldiers to help her in her quest. While Reyna is super powerful, her demigod powers of Bellona to share her strength and energy with her comrades really only works in a team environment and not a 1v1. That being said, she's the best warrior on the list thus far and is able to learn new fighting styles very quickly. As a daughter of Loki, we've seen Sam shapeshift a few times. However, she never uses the power to its full extent, since she hates taking advantage of Loki's powers. Other than that, she's pretty good with an axe, and she's a Valkyrie, which lets her fly. Meg, as a daughter of Demeter, is naturally a very skilled sword fighter. She also has control over plants, and uses this demigod power in a way we haven't seen before. She's able to manipulate plants for offense, but also for defense and stealth, like when she used plants to teleport. And she can also summon certain nature spirits like Peaches to help her fight. Like Reyna, Annabeth's strategic skill and intelligence works best when she has really powerful teammates like Leo or Percy, with crazy abilities she can use to make a solid plan. That being said, her intelligence can also help her in a 1v1. As a daughter of the war goddess, she's good at fighting. Mix that with her intelligence, and I believe she could outsmart and defeat anyone ranked below her on this list. Talia never really takes advantage of the powers she has from Zeus. She's summoned lightning only a few times, and she never flies because she's scared of heights. Her main powers come from being a hunter of Artemis, which makes her amazing at tracking and gives her tons of experience chasing and battling monsters. I think Luke's power as a demigod is really underrated and not talked about enough. He was an expert with locks and thievery as a child of Hermes. I mean, he did steal Zeus's Master Bolt and the Helm of Darkness from Hades. Despite those powers, which are honestly really useless in a 1v1, Luke was said to be the best sword fighter at camp in the last century, before Percy took that title. Also, he has some of the strongest willpower we've ever seen, surviving his dip in the river Styx and taking back control of his body from Kronos. Piper's defense is pretty much more offense. Her Charmspeak is her only power, but she's better at it than any other Charm-speaking character we've seen, like Alex, Selena, and that annoying Aphrodite cabin counselor in The Lost Hero. Although her Charmspeak is extremely powerful, putting even Gaia to sleep, I think a lot of characters could counter it pretty easily. Jason could probably just fly high enough so that he can't hear her and then zap her with a lightning bolt. Leo could make Festus roar to drown out the sound of her voice, and Percy would probably just wear earplugs. Starting off the top 10, we have Hazel. Hazel has two abilities that make up her strength: her powers from Pluto and her ability to control the mist. Her Pluto powers aren't the best for offense, or defense really. They work best in surveillance or stealth missions where Hazel can use her underground navigation. Her mist control, however, is extremely useful. She's used it to defeat Skyron and during her fight against Clydius. Yup, believe it or not, I do think Alex beats Hazel and Piper. As a child of Loki, Alex can Charmspeak to an extent, though nowhere near as well as Piper. He/she can also shapeshift, and since Alex has no problem using Loki's powers, he/she uses it much better than Sam. Alex is also really good with the garrote, beheading Magnus very easily, and at pottery. As a son of Jupiter, it's fair to say that Jason has incredible potential as a demigod, and he lives up to it. Unlike Talia, Jason uses Jupiter's powers to their full extent. He flies, getting him the Blonde Superman title, and is a lot better at summoning lightning than Talia, using his lightning powers to defeat small armies before. Some of his feats include fighting the Titan Krios, being part of the Seven, and being one of the three to take care of Gaia after she awakened. Frank is so powerful that he had to be nerfed with the Fire Stick, but fortunately for him, he lost that weakness in the Trials of Apollo. So now, all Frank's left with is pure power. Not only is he physically very strong, but he's for sure the best shapeshifter we've seen. On top of that, as a son of Mars, Frank has great control over all weapons, especially a bow, and he occasionally gets the blessing of Mars. His leadership skills should also not go unmentioned. It was great to see Frank slowly build up more and more confidence in the heroes of Olympus, and end up as one of the most respected demigods and praetors. Although the Kane siblings aren't really demigods, I thought I'd still include them since they host gods. In my opinion, Carter is more powerful than Sadie, mainly because his magic focuses more on strength and offense, while Sadie's is more flexible. That being said, Sadie is still one of the strongest we've seen in the Riordanverse. She uses divine magic, divine words when she's hosting Isis, and managed to perform the strongest spell in existence, summoning the hieroglyph for Ma'at. Sadie is also able to read and decipher hieroglyphs extremely easily. On top of that, she's able to transform into certain animals, summon portals, bring statues to life, use elemental magic, and much more. Bad Boy Supreme makes the top 5, huh? Many people might disagree with Leo being the top 5, but considering his skills with machinery and forgery, I think he could find a way to beat any demigod on this list given enough time. He did repair Festus and build the Argo too after all. Leo is also a very strong thinker, which many people tend to overlook, formulating ideas very quickly. For example, when he was plummeting toward Calypso's island, he managed to take stock of the tools he had, mainly the Archimedes sphere, and build a functioning helicopter to slow his fall. On top of his mechanic skills, Leo has the very rare power of fire manipulation. In The Lost Hero, it was this power that allowed him to beat the snow goddess Xion, despite still honing his skills as a demigod. You guys are probably thinking that I'm crazy, and that might be true, but I really don't think Nico could be placed any higher on the list. We all know how powerful his abilities are. He could kill someone just by touching them. He can shadow travel, sometimes hundreds of miles at a time, and he's even called the Ghost King. However, Nico is the youngest demigod on this list, besides Meg, and due to all of his time in captivity and Tartarus and whatnot, his physical condition isn't the best, which impacts his stamina. Nico tires too quickly, and paired against a powerful enemy who can play defense until he tires out, Nico loses. That being said, I really hope to see more of his true power in the upcoming Nico and Will book, since I'm assuming he'll be a bit older and in better health. Magnus and Jack, well, really just Jack. Magnus alone would be in the bottom 5 of this list since his powers revolve around healing his teammates and the Piece of Frey, which makes everyone on the battlefield drop their weapons, neither of which are much good in a 1v1. Jack, however, is a godly weapon previously being owned by Frey. Jack is said to be the sharpest and strongest blade in the 9 worlds. We've seen him fly and kill giants in Jotunheim like it was nothing. Jack can also open portals to anywhere in the 9 worlds. Carter is the chief lector of the magician world, as well as the leader of Brooklyn House along with Sadie, making him well known as the most powerful magician in the world. Using the power of Horus, Carter is able to summon a combat avatar, a 20-foot blue hawk-headed warrior with insane strength. He's also able to use the Fist of Horus, as well as channel the strength of Horus into his own body, making his skin as thick and durable as steel and extremely powerful. So like I mentioned before, Carter's power revolves around crazy strength and durability, which is amazing for both defense and offense. On top of that, Carter has superhuman reflexes, speed, strength, and agility when channeling the power of Horus. He can also perform many spells, divine words, and rituals without using the power of Horus. Without a doubt, Percy is the most powerful demigod in the Riordanverse. I won't go over his powers since I'm assuming everyone watching this video already knows them. Instead, I'll talk about his accomplishments since he definitely has the best out of all these characters. He's held up the world, battled countless titans and giants, including Kronos and Gaia, survived the journey through Tartarus, choked the goddess Aklis with her own tears, saved Olympus and the world multiple times, became praetor of Camp Jupiter so quickly, exploding Mount St. Helens, awakening Typhon, survived a dip in the river Styx, was offered godhood by Zeus, destroyed the Minotaur at age 12, killed Medusa also at age 12, and so much more. So yeah, that was my ranking of the top 20 most powerful demigods in the Riordanverse. If you disagree, or on the off chance you actually agree, feel free to comment your thoughts down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.